The hardest thing I have ever had to do was to try and be myself, to attempt to be myself. And why do I say that? Because it felt like I was trying to do something that was already done. Like getting into a room I was already in. It just felt like this is impossible, this thing that I'm trying to do. But I didn't know, because the whole world was telling me, be yourself. That's the answer to everything. Be yourself. And I'm like, how? I'm already myself. Can I be anything else besides me? And I remember one time I was just reading the Bible, and I came across this line, and it said, I am that which I am. And then I looked at that and I'm like, man, that sounds so powerful. That sounds so, I'm not telling you what I am. I'm not saying I'm the greatest. I'm not saying I'm the best. I just am that which I am. For some reason, that felt so powerful. And it hit me that was the greatest declaration of identity. You know, that was pretty much God saying, all there is, I'm it. There's nothing outside what is or what I'm saying that I am. If I say it, it is it, and I am it. And I'm like, whoa. Oh, maybe that's maybe that's what I should be doing. Instead of trying to be me, maybe I should just sit there and I say, I am me. Whatever comes, you know, whatever I do, that's who I am. If I'm feeling nervous about something, that's who I am. If I'm pretending to be something that I'm not, that's also who I am. Somebody who's pretending, that's me. You know, everything basically that I can do all comes back to that is who I am. Even the idea of trying to be me, and I was like, yeah, that is you. At the end of the day, you are the person that's trying to be you, no matter what result that's going to bring. And then I'm like, okay, and that helped me to stop something. It shifted something in my head. I don't fully have the words for what happened, but something in my spirit shifted when all those concepts were running through my head. And it was all out of that line. I am that which I am. And I think if people would embody their identity, I think you can be unstoppable if you do that. I feel like some of the greatest things that have ever been done or invented in this world came out of someone who was saying that to themselves. I don't think greatness, is something that comes out of charisma or education or skill or, whatever it is, influence and this and this. I don't think that's the root of real greatness. There's a lot of people in this world who have education, amazing education, but who haven't achieved something that they consider great, who haven't even reached their goals. People who have charisma, who haven't. People who are courageous, man. People who don't have much fear of anything, People who get stuff done. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of those people that have not achieved the things that they want to achieve. So what then makes a person do that? And at some point I thought desperation sometimes, can lead you to great heights. A need for something, extreme poverty can move you into greatest financial heights and all that stuff. pain, you know. But then again, it was the same thing that I know people who are in extreme poverty and are struggling in that place, you know, but they're not getting out. You know, I know people who have anger about whatever situation they're in, and they've been there for years, and they're angry and they can't stand it anymore, but they still haven't gotten anywhere. So I knew that the circumstance is not a guarantee. Yes, there are people that manage to do that, but that itself doesn't. Talent on its own doesn't. But there was one thing that always did. There was one thing that always got somebody somewhere. And that was the concept of who they were. Their own concept of who they were. That was never something that failed. If somebody knew who they were, or let me not say knowing, but declaring that whatever is. That's the thing that makes a person be able to do anything and believe that anything is possible. I just have to say it and it will happen. And I've decided that this is going to be the case, you know. That's what makes it easy for a person to say, I've decided and that's how it's going to be. That's just what I think. I don't think the Bill Gates of this world, the Steve Jobs, you know, the Oprahs and whoever, I don't think those people got there because they were smart or creative, or, you know, they were intelligent, high IQ, you know, or they had connections or money. I'm sure when Bill Gates came up with Microsoft, there were other software engineers out there who came from money, who were trying to come up with a product, you know, that was missing in the industry. There must have been a couple of those kids who had money all over the world, in Asia, smart kids who have rich families who were trying to do this thing. Same as Steve Jobs, when he came up with the concept of Apple, there were people in the industry who were trying to come up with something new, something innovative, probably people who were even smarter than him and more creative than him, you know, who probably had money. So these things, man, I think what we think brings about success, we got it wrong. I think the thing that made the Steve Jobs of this world and the Bill Gates, I'm just using those two as an example because of everybody knows them, right? I think it was a sense of, I know who I am. And this thing that I want to do is an extension of my identity. There's no difference between, I think at some point Steve Jobs said to himself, there's no difference between me and this Apple thing that I want to do. We are one, me and that thing. So if the Apple has to happen just as much as I'm happening, for as long as I breathe, Apple is going to breathe. And there's no other way. And you can't stop someone like that.